Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch Clone Trooper. I do really like the Clone Trooper design, so I'm happy to have this figure. It's good. There's nothing really wrong with it, other than a couple little details, but it's a lot of laziness on Hasbro's part. We do have a couple accessories. We have the rifle and the pistol. Solid black molded plastic. That's it. No detail at all. And for a quick reference, you can see that the Stormtrooper rifle had paint detail, and his pistol didn't, I don't think. No, it didn't. But he at least had some detail on the rifle, but no detail for the Clone Trooper at all. So that's pretty disappointing. And then we have the figure that's almost completely white and black, and they still somehow screwed up the paint job. It's all molded white for the most part, except the molded white parts have gray bits, like gray scratches and smudges throughout. And then the painted white parts, they don't look that good. Like the elbows are painted. You can see here that there's more white there than on the back part, so it's kind of gray. Same on this side. And then the knee pads, they look like they're painted with really cheap white paint. I don't understand what's going on there. We do have a little bit of gray paint throughout the back here, but it's all sloppy and chipped away. They painted the black parts on the tops of the boots, but that's all sloppy and chipped away. The paint on the helmet, it's not horrible, but it's definitely not clean. If you look at the visor, it doesn't fill the space properly. The gray parts near the mouth, it's just really lazy. And for such a minimal paint job, you'd think they would have got it right, but they didn't do a very good job. So once again, Hasbro's laziness has ruined a fairly decent figure. Not ruined, but it made it less good. He's about 6 3/8 inches tall, so pretty good size. If you remember on the Stormtrooper, the head sat really high on the ball peg and just kind of bobbled around. It gave it good articulation, but you could see into the joint. So for this one we have the, let's focus, we have the hinge here and then the ball peg on top, which is good. But the head sits down, so the ball peg goes so high up in the head, you don't have much range of motion at all. You have one notch really for the hinge, and then this ball peg is just a swivel now. It looks a whole lot better. You can't see inside the joint at all like you could on the Stormtrooper, but now we lose most of the articulation. So that's, I mean, I guess it's okay if you're going for sculpt, but if you're going for articulation, they screwed it up. They need to find that middle ground where it looks good and can pose. So the shoulder pads are glued on to the shoulders, but mine came where they just basically popped off as soon as I touched them, so I'm going to have to fix that myself. And I imagine most people are going to actually pop off as they pose it. It does tuck in a little bit, but not as well as it should. That's as far as you can move the arm with the shoulder pad on there. So we do have the swivel here, it's ratcheted, and we have the hinge here, but the shoulder pad gets in the way a lot. Again, it looks really good as long as you don't pose it, so be careful about that. We do have a bicep swivel here, it's fairly well hidden, so that's good. Double jointed elbow. Not the greatest range of motion, but it's good enough. I can't really complain about that too much, other than the paint job on the elbow is still kind of iffy. We have a hinged wrist, and it swivels as well, so that's fine. Same thing on this side, except on this side we have the trigger finger, and on this side we don't. So you can't really have him hold both weapons. Just stick the pistol in the... Oh, wait a minute, he doesn't have one, so I don't know what we're supposed to do with that. Yeah, I don't know. We have a pistol and a rifle, but you can't hold both at once. So that's disappointing. It would have been nice if he could have. I know it's not realistic, and it's obviously not a necessary thing, but it would have been cool to have him hold both weapons. You're probably going to end up just doing the rifle, which is fine. It's not a big deal. It's just something I noticed, that you can't really use both weapons. At least on the Stormtrooper, he can put it in his holster. Alright, back to the rest of the review. So he's got a ball hinge for the diaphragm, maybe a double ball peg. It's either a double ball peg or a single ball peg, but it's pretty limited. It's okay, it doesn't look bad, but you're not going to get much articulation out of that. So he's going to be mostly in a static pose, doing his Clone Trooper type stuff, but that's okay, I guess. The hips, pretty limited. We have the swivel going forward and back. The armor gets in the way. Can't blame Hasbro for that. That is the armor. Can't do anything about that. Side to side, pretty limited though. So the hips are very limited and all about, you can't really do much with them. We do have a swivel hidden nicely, so that's good. I don't know how useful that's going to be, but Double jointed knee, pretty good there, no problems. And then the ankle has the hinge, doesn't go back at all, goes forward a little bit, and it has an ankle rocker. So that's okay. It's just, this guy is definitely going to be an army builder since you can't pose him very dynamically at all. He's just going to be standing there doing clone troopery things, which I guess is fine. I mean, the clone troopers aren't known for their super dynamic poses, so I guess that's okay. Just don't expect to have a really great figure. It's a very mediocre figure, and it's mostly just going to be standing there holding its gun on your shelf. So, like I said, don't expect much. It's okay for what it is, but a little bit of laziness took this figure from being a pretty decent figure to a pretty average figure. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.